Guys, welcome to Transition Thursdays, and today we are going to talk about legends. So on Tuesday, Mr. Sam started off our conversation by talking to us about the Dogman legend, and he was talking about the fact that the story may be true or it might not be true. And that is ultimately what a legend is. A legend is a story that tries to address the history of something, but it's not verified, so it's not necessarily true. And historically, people use these stories or these legends to share the believed history of an area or of people, to pass along their history. So today we are going to talk about a legend. We are going to talk about the legend of the sleeping bear. And this is a special legend that takes place in Michigan. So we're going to read this together today. So it is believed, and I'm going to read this section for you guys. It is believed that the Ojibwa of Michigan were the first to tell the story of the sleeping bear and her cubs, a legend that has since become known as the legend of the sleeping bear. The tale originated as a way to explain the sandy area that we know today as Sleeping Bear Dunes. Now, when we finish reading this book, I'm going to take you on a little trip to the Sleeping Bear Dunes, so we'll get to see it in person. In this story, Mother Bear and her two cubs must escape a forest fire in Wisconsin. As they struggle to make this journey across Lake Michigan, the loyalty and dedication they show to one another is powerful and heartwarming. It took more than a year for painter Gijsbert van Frankenhuizen and author Kathy Jo Wargen to bring this enchanting and popular tale to life. The richness and the depth of their work underscores the beauty of the legend, preserving this story for generations to come. So you ready? We're going to read this together today. A legend is a story created about a certain person or place. Many legends are created as a way of explaining history. Most legends are based in fiction, which means they are not necessarily true. However, the real magic of a legend exists in the fact that it is a story passed on from generation to generation. In writing The Legend of the Sleeping Bear, it was my goal to remind people why this legend is so meaningful and to introduce new generations to the beauty and symbolism that lives on through the Sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore. Here is my version of the legend, and may the legend live on in your heart. Kathy Jo Wargen. Long ago, before voyagers paddled canoes down rivers and streams, before mighty lumbermen cleared forests with sharp, shiny axes, before wooden ships carried sailors across great freshwater seas, there was a beautiful forest near the edge of a mighty lake. Today, we know that forest as part of Wisconsin, and the mighty lake is called Lake Michigan. But this was a time before many places had names or people. It was a time before farmers and Native Americans planted cherry and apple trees in neat long rows. It was a time before pioneers planted colorful gardens of pumpkins, potatoes, and corn. In this forest near the edge of the lake lived Mother Bear. Her fur was blacker than the darkest night, and her eyes were large and round. Mother Bear had two cubs, and they were very soft and playful. The three of them lived together in a small, cozy den nestled among bluebells and buttercups. Every morning, as the wood thrush softly sang pip, 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 and chickadees called chickadee, dee, dee from the trees, Mother Bear and her cubs would lumber through the forest to the banks of the birch-lined stream. Deer would gently bend their slender necks to sip the cool water, and raccoons would quickly wash their faces. Mother Bear and her cubs would step carefully into the stream, and as the fresh, clear water trickled by, Mother Bear would teach her cubs how to snatch plump, colorful trout for breakfast. Afterward, they would sit lazily on the banks, nibbling blueberries and hazelnuts. Every afternoon, Mother Bear would lead her cubs through the forest to the edge of the mighty lake. This lake was so big they could not see the other side, and the water seemed to disappear into the sky. The bears would frolic along the sandy shore, happily splashing in the shallows, chasing herring gulls. They tugged at each other's tails and took long, cool baths. Every evening, Mother Bear led her cubs back to their warm, cozy den, where she cradled them in her big black paws and held them gently when they went to sleep. One morning, as they were lumbering along to the birch-lined stream, there was a loud crash of thunder and a sharp hissing sound. Snap. Pop. Mother Bear stood on her hind feet and stuck her nose in the air. A brilliant orange blaze flashed through the trees, and dark clouds filled the sky. Fire. Mother Bear rushed her cubs to the banks of the stream and ordered them to follow it to the shore of the mighty lake. Bears dashed rapidly, deer sprang back and forth, and wolves ran wildly. Even the star-nosed moles hurried out from beneath the cover of the forest floor. As they reached the shore, Mother Bear gathered her cubs and shouted, "Children, we must go! We must swim across the mighty lake, my children. I love you so." They leapt into the water and began to swim. The lake was very deep. The water was cold. The waves were tall and the wind was strong. They paddled hard and fast. Mother Bear pleaded, "My children, do you promise that you'll swim with all your might? If we are to reach the other side, we must swim throughout the night." The faithful cubs promised their mother that they would swim with all their might. They swam and swam, growing weary and tired. They swam as the afternoon sun grew large and warm. They swam as the sun slipped below the horizon and the air grew cold. And as they swam, Mother Bear kept turning her large black face to make sure her cubs were not far behind. She watched as their paws struggled against the water, and as their soft round faces became smaller and smaller between the waves of the mighty lake. Mother Bear grew worried. Soon nighttime fell upon them, the sky grew dark, and the stars began to shine. Suddenly the air seemed quiet, and the water became very still. In the distance, Mother Bear heard the trill of screech owls and the howling of timber wolves. Mother Bear kept looking back as she swam throughout the night. Through her tired eyes, she noticed the morning sun was beginning to rise and cast its bright rays upon the deep blue water. She looked back once more, but she could not see her cubs. Mother Bear collapsed on the banks of shore. Her wet, heavy paws sank in the deep sand. There were rolling hills and huge mounds of sand all around her, and the land seemed very strange. Mother Bear paced up and down the water's edge, but her cubs were nowhere to be found. Her wet fur gleamed in the fresh morning sunlight, and tears shone in her eyes. Mother Bear cried, "My children, are you coming? You are strong and you are clever. My children, can you hear me? I will wait for you forever." Mother Bear climbed to the top of the highest hill, and she looked out over the deep, dark water, but saw no signs of her cubs. Mother Bear called throughout the day, "My children, can you hear me? I know you must be near. My children, I am waiting high up here." Mother Bear waited until the sun set and another night fell upon her. She waited while the sun came up again in the morning. She waited while wild pink roses bloomed all around her, and while baby white-throated sparrows learned how to fly. She waited while the grasses on the distant dune became yellow and dull. She waited while the leaves fell from the beech trees. Mother Bear waited while the air grew colder and snowflakes floated down from thick, dark winter clouds. She waited and waited. Mother Bear waited, but her cubs never reached the shore. And high upon the hill, Mother Bear fell fast asleep in her sorrow. Years passed, and the winds of Lake Michigan blew blankets of sand upon her, keeping her warm and safe in her slumber. Over time, the Great Spirit of the land felt her sadness, recognizing her dedication and her love for her children. With a tremendous gust of wind, the Spirit brought the cubs near the shore, raising them out of the water as two magnificent islands, placing them forever within the watchful and caring eyes of Mother Bear. The cubs now stand suspended in time as the North and South Manitou Islands. Happy to be near their mother once again, they rest in the spirit of their mother's love. Two islands of gleaming sand edged by waters that sparkle and dance in the sunlight. Now Mother Bear can finally rest with great happiness, knowing her cubs are near. And today, when the world is quiet and the sun begins to set, you can still hear her voice echoing in the wind that blows across Lake Michigan. My children, as the years may pass and time slips through our hands, my love will linger near the shore and in the blowing sands. I'll send you kisses in the wind to let you know I'm here, sleeping near the water's edge. I am always near. My children, you can rest assured that we are now together, and I am watching over you and loving you forever. I hope you guys enjoyed that story. It is one of my favorite ones, and it's one I remember being told when I was a little girl, and it's one that I shared recently with my nieces and nephew when we took a trip to Sleeping Bear. So I will include a couple pictures from our trip together and a video. It's not the best video, but you can see my niece's reaction to running down the dunes, which is one of the things that I remember most from being a kid. For the record, we did go on an extremely hot day and the sand was burning our feet, so the pictures in the video are not the best quality. So I'll also include some links to videos that you can find on YouTube to watch as well that truly show you the beauty of this area and really recognize how special this place is in Michigan. I hope you enjoy. Okay guys, so what you see here is a view of the front side of the dunes from the parking lot, and you can see the people that are up towards the top. Lake Michigan is about 1 to 2 miles behind the top of that ridge line, but this is the area that most people walk. And in this picture you can see we've almost made it to the very top. These are my nieces and my nephew, and you can see my littlest niece is not too thrilled because the sand was so hot, so she wanted to be carried the whole time. In this next picture you can see we're kind of just sitting and enjoying the view, and in the next clip you will see my niece and my nephew did walk to the top of the front side of the dunes, or are about to walk to the front side of the dunes. This is a survey of from where we were standing down into the parking lot. And you can see we weren't that high up on the dunes. We didn't go all the way to the top just because it was really, really hot and the sand was burning our feet. This is the picture where you can see my niece and my nephew at the very top of the hill. They've never been before, and this is my niece running down. She took the camera for me here. And she's running down. I'm not sure if you can still hear her audio over mine, but the whole time she's saying wee, and then at the very end she says ow. The sand was so hot, you guys. We had burn marks on our feet by the time we got done. So she's at the bottom, and this is her looking up to the rest of us to walk down. And we chose to walk through the grassy area to try and protect our feet. So I hope this is something you guys try in the future because it's such a beautiful place. As a kid, we used to walk all the way to Lake Michigan and go hang out on the other end of the dunes. But just because of the temperature that day, we did not do that for this video. So I'll include some links, and I hope you guys enjoy this.